The silver ship landed in the Nevada desert with a soft hum. Sand swirled around its smooth hull as the engines powered down. Captain Lisa Martinez stood behind the safety line, watching the alien vessel with careful eyes. She had trained for this moment her entire career, but nothing could have prepared her for the real thing. "Remember, slow movements only," Dr. Kevin Clark whispered beside her. He adjusted his translator device one more time. "We don't want to scare them." The ship's door opened with a hiss. A ramp extended to the ground. 5 figures stepped out, each one different from the others. The first was tall and thin, with blue-gray skin that seemed to shimmer in the desert sun. His name was Ambassador Zethkara, according to the messages they had sent ahead. Behind him came 4 others. One looked like a walking tree with silver bark. Another had 6 arms and moved like a spider. The third floated a few inches off the ground, its body transparent like a jellyfish. The last one was covered in golden fur and walked on 4 legs like a big cat. "Welcome to Earth," Lisa said, stepping forward. She kept her voice calm and steady. "I am Captain Lisa Martinez of the United Nations Space Command." Ambassador Zethkara moved toward her. Each step looked difficult, as if he was walking through thick mud. His breathing was heavy and fast. When he reached out to shake her hand, Lisa noticed how his arm trembled. "Greetings," he said through his translator. His voice sounded strained. "I am Ambassador Zethkara of the Velfari people." Lisa took his hand gently. The alien's grip was weak, and she could feel him struggling to stand upright. She looked at the other aliens and saw they were all having the same problem. The floating one had sunk lower to the ground. The 6-armed one was using all its limbs to support itself. "Are you feeling well?" Dr. Clark asked, genuine concern in his voice. "We are." Adjusting, Zethkara replied, "Your world is ... heavy." Lisa and Kevin exchanged glances. They had expected cultural differences, maybe communication problems. They had not expected the aliens to have trouble with Earth's gravity. "Would you like to sit down?" Lisa offered. "We have chairs prepared." "That would be appreciated." The ambassador said they moved slowly toward the meeting area. The humans had set up a large tent with comfortable chairs and a table full of refreshments. The aliens moved like old people, taking careful steps and breathing hard as they walked. Lisa noticed a group of children playing in a nearby park. 8-year-old Danny Peterson was hanging from the monkey bars, swinging from one to the next with easy grace. His sister Katie was doing cartwheels in the grass, laughing as she rolled over and over. The aliens stopped walking. They stared at the children with wide eyes. "Those are—" "You're young?" asked the tree-like alien. "Yes," Kevin said. "Just children playing." Danny dropped from the monkey bars and ran to his sister. He picked up a soccer ball and kicked it high into the air. Katie jumped up and caught it, her feet leaving the ground for several seconds. The golden-furred alien made a sound like a whimper. "How do they move so easily?" "They're just playing," Lisa said, confused. "This is normal for human children." "Normal?" Zethkara's voice rose higher. "They move as if they have great strength." "Well, they're healthy kids," Kevin said with a shrug. "Nothing special about them." The aliens looked at each other. Their expressions were hard to read, but Lisa could sense their amazement. They watched Danny and Katie play for several more minutes, their eyes following every jump and run. Finally, they reached the meeting tent. The aliens sank into their chairs with obvious relief. Lisa noticed that even sitting down, they seemed to struggle with their own weight. "Please, help yourselves to refreshments," she said, gesturing to the table. Single quotes. Kara reached for a glass of water. His arm shook as he lifted it. The glass, which would be light for any human, seemed heavy in his hands. He drank slowly as if the simple act tired him out. "Your world has strong gravity," he said after setting the glass down. "Is it uncomfortable for you?" Lisa asked. "We come from worlds with less pull," the floating alien said. Its voice was like wind through leaves. "Your gravity is nearly 3 times what we are used to." Kevin's eyes widened. 3 times? I had no idea. "Most worlds in the galaxy have lighter gravity," Zethkara explained. "Your Earth is unusually heavy." Lisa thought about this. If Earth's gravity was 3 times stronger than normal, then humans were living under conditions that would crush most aliens. No wonder the children's play looked amazing to them. "How do you live like this?" asked the 6-armed alien. "How? Do you function normally?" "We don't know any different," Lisa said. "We were born here. We grew up here. This is normal for us." The aliens looked at each other again. There was something in their expressions that Lisa couldn't quite understand. Was it fear? Respect? She wasn't sure. The meeting continued for several hours. They discussed trade, communication, and cultural exchange. But Lisa noticed that the aliens kept glancing toward the park where more children had come to play. They watched teenage boys playing basketball, jumping high to shoot the ball through the hoop. They stared as young girls did gymnastics on the grass. "Your people are very capable," Zethkara said as the meeting ended. "We try our best," Lisa replied. As the aliens prepared to leave, they moved even more slowly than before. The day under Earth's gravity had exhausted them. They needed help getting back to their ship. "Thank you for this meeting," Zethkara said at the ramp. "We have learned much about humanity today. We look forward to future meetings," Lisa said. The aliens nodded and entered their ship. As it lifted off, Lisa and Kevin watched it disappear into the sky. "That was strange," Kevin said. "Did you notice how they looked at the kids? Like they were seeing something impossible," Lisa replied. Neither of them realized that they had just changed the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. The aliens had come expecting to meet another normal species. Instead, they had discovered a race of beings who lived their entire lives under crushing gravity and called it normal. As Zethkara's ship traveled back to the Galactic Council, he recorded his thoughts in his personal log. "The humans are not what we expected," he said. "They live under conditions that would kill most of us. Yet they thrive. They run, jump, and play as if gravity means nothing to them. What does this mean for their true capabilities? What have we discovered?" The question would soon shake the entire galaxy. The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 200 species filled the curved seats, their various forms creating a rainbow of colors and shapes. At the center of the chamber, Dr. Yixtai stood, behind a holographic display, his 4 eyes scanning the crowd. "Fellow council members," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the translation systems. "3 months ago, we made first contact with the species called humans. Today, I must share discoveries that will change how we view this new race." The chamber fell silent. Even the ethereal collective, who rarely showed emotion, seemed to lean forward in their seats. "The planet Earth," Dr. Yixtai continued, "has a gravitational pull of 9.8 meters per second squared. This is 2.9 times the galactic average." A ripple of gasps went through the chamber. Fleet Commander Nox Run of the Krillian Empire, known for his warrior culture, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Furthermore," the doctor went on, "humans have evolved under these conditions for millions of years. Their entire biology is adapted to this extreme environment." The holographic display showed human anatomy. Dr. Yixtai pointed to different parts as he spoke. "Their bone density is incredible. Their muscle fibers are packed tight with power. Their hearts pump blood with tremendous force. Their lungs process oxygen with amazing efficiency. All of this is normal for them. Ambassador Kalanova of the Fall, Ethereal Collective, spoke up. What does this mean for their physical capabilities? It means, Dr. Yixtai said slowly, that an average human child could overpower most adult beings in this chamber. The silence that followed was deafening. Fleet Commander Nox Run stood up, his scaled face dark with concern. Are you saying these humans are a warrior race? He demanded. No, Dr. Yixtai replied. From what we observed, they are peaceful, but their natural abilities are ... extraordinary. Meanwhile, on Earth, Colonel Jake Morrison sat in a secure meeting. Room deep underground. Around the table sat the world's top military leaders and scientists. The mood was tense. The aliens are scared, said General Patricia Wong, reading from a classified report. Our intelligence suggests they view us as a potential threat. Maybe we are, muttered Admiral Frank Torres. If their gravity is 3 times weaker than ours, then our weakest soldier would be like a superhero in their worlds. Major Beth Campbell shook her head. That's exactly the wrong attitude. We need to show them we're not conquerors. We're explorers and protectors. Dr. Amy Rodriguez, the team's lead scientist, spread her research across the table. I've been studying the data we collected from the alien visitors. Their physiology is fascinating, but also fragile compared to ours. She pulled up a chart showing comparative strength measurements. A human child playing on a playground exerts more force than most adult aliens can generate. When they saw our kids playing, they were watching what looked like incredible feats of strength. So what do we do? Asked Colonel Morrison. We be honest, Major Campbell said. We explained that we evolved this way. We didn't choose to be stronger. It's just how we are. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the debate continued. Trade Minister Quex of the Merchant Guild saw opportunity where others saw danger. Think of the possibilities, he said, his tentacles waving excitedly. Humans could work in environments we cannot. High-gravity worlds, heavy construction, dangerous rescues. Or they could conquer us all. Fleet Commander Nox Run replied grimly. Not necessarily, said Dr. Yixtai. My observations suggest they have strong moral principles. They showed kindness to our delegation, despite our obvious weakness. The council was interrupted by an urgent message. A communication officer rushed into the chamber, his face pale with worry. Council members, he announced, we have received a distress signal from the Kepler 442b mining colony. They are under attack by pirate forces. The chamber erupted in discussion. Kepler 442b was a mining world with valuable resources, but it had higher gravity than most inhabited planets. At 1.2 times the galactic average, it was difficult for most species to operate there effectively. The colony's security forces are overwhelmed, the officer continued. The pirates are using the heavy gravity to their advantage. Most of the colonists cannot fight effectively in those conditions. Fleet Commander Nox Run stood again. My fleets are too far away to help in time. The nearest military force would take weeks to reach them. What about the humans? Asked Ambassador Kalanova quietly. The chamber fell silent again. All eyes turned to the ethereal representative. Kepler 442b's gravity is still lighter than Earth's, she continued. If humans can function normally on their homeworld, then 1.2 times galactic average should be easy for them. Dr. Yixtai nodded slowly. The calculations support this. Humans would have a significant advantage in those conditions. Are we seriously considering asking a species we just met to fight our battles? Demanded Fleet Commander Nox Run. We are considering asking them to help innocent people, Ambassador Kalanova replied. Is that not what allies do? On Earth? The emergency session continued as news of the pirate attack reached human authorities. The debate was intense but brief. We can't ignore people in need, said General Wong. If we have the ability to help, We should. But what message does that send? Asked Admiral Torres. At we're the galaxy's new police force? Dr. Rodriguez looked up from her calculations. According to the data, we're the only species that can operate effectively on Kepler 442b. The colonists are trapped there because they cannot fight in the heavy gravity. Colonel Morrison made the decision that would change everything. We send a small team, volunteers only. We go in, rescue the colonists, and capture the pirates. We show the galaxy that humans use their strength to protect, not to conquer. The plan was simple but risky. A team of 12 human soldiers would travel to Kepler 442b and engage the pirates in combat. It would be the first time humans fought alongside alien allies, and the first time their natural advantages would be tested in real combat. Captain Ryan Brooks volunteered to lead the mission. He was a career soldier with experience in difficult environments. His team included Sergeant Linda Walsh, an expert in small unit tactics, and Corporal Tony Martinez, a demolition specialist. This is not just a rescue mission, Colonel Morrison told them before departure. The entire galaxy will be watching. We need to show them that humans can be trusted with power. The transport ship Endeavour prepared for immediate departure. Captain Helen Foster, a veteran of deep space missions, would command the vessel. The crew included both human and alien personnel, a test of the new cooperation between species. As the ship prepared to leave Earth's orbit, Dr. Rodriguez transmitted her final analysis to the Galactic Council. Humans evolved under extreme conditions, she concluded, but they also evolved to work together, to protect the weak and to solve problems. Their strength comes with wisdom. This mission will prove that. The Endeavour engaged its hyperdrive and disappeared into the stars. Behind them, both Earth and the Galactic Council waited anxiously for the results. Ambassador Sif Kara watched the ship's departure from his observation deck. They go to face danger for people they have never met, he recorded in his log. Perhaps we were wrong to fear them. Perhaps we should have hoped for them instead. The galaxy was about to witness what humans could do when they chose to fight, for others rather than themselves. The outcome would determine humanity's place in the stars for generations to come. The Endeavour cut through space at maximum speed, its hull glowing with the energy of hyperdrive. Captain Helen Foster stood on the bridge, watching the stars streak past in brilliant lines. This was her ship, her crew, and her responsibility. How long until we reach Kepler 442b? She asked her navigation officer. 14 hours, Captain, replied Lieutenant Paul Adams. The pirates don't know we're coming. In the ship's cargo bay, Captain Ryan Brooks gathered his team for final preparations. 12 human soldiers sat in a circle, checking their equipment one last time. Their gear was specially designed for alien environments, but they had no idea what they would face. Remember, Brooks said, his voice calm and steady, we're not just rescuing colonists. We're representing all of humanity. Every action we take will be judged by the entire galaxy. Sergeant Linda Walsh nodded. She had served with Brooks for 5 years and trusted his judgment completely. What do we know about the enemy? Mixed. Species pirate group, Brooks replied. Maybe 30 fighters total. They're using the heavy gravity to keep the colonists trapped in their buildings. Corporal Tony Martinez looked confused. Heavy gravity? The briefing said it was only 1.2 times galactic average. That's heavy for most aliens, explained Dr. Clark, who had joined the mission as an advisor. Remember what we saw with the first contact delegation. They could barely walk on Earth. This planet's gravity might be manageable for us, but it's crushing for them. The team continued their preparations. They practiced movement drills in the ship's variable gravity chamber, adjusting to the conditions they would face. The alien crew members watched in amazement as the humans moved easily through gravitational fields that would exhaust most species. Ship's engineer Velmoth, a member of the same species as Ambassador Zefkara, observed the training with careful attention. They adapt so quickly, he noted in his personal log. Even in zero gravity, they maintain muscle tone better than we do. Evolution has given them incredible advantages. As the ship neared its destination, Captain Foster called a briefing. The main screen showed Kepler 442b, a rocky world with blue-green oceans and brown continents. It looked peaceful from space, but the surface told a different story. The pirates have established a base camp here, Foster said, pointing to a valley near the mining colony. They're using portable shields to protect their ships and equipment. How many colonists are trapped? Asked Sergeant Walsh. About 200, Foster replied. Mixed species, mostly mining engineers and their families. They're hiding in there. Reinforced buildings, but they can't fight back effectively. The mission plan was simple but dangerous. The human team would land at night, approach the pirate base under cover of darkness, and launch a surprise attack. The alien security forces would provide support from the colony's defensive positions. The key, Brooks explained, is speed and surprise. We hit them hard and fast before they can organize a proper defense. As the Endeavour entered orbit around Kepler 442b, the team prepared for deployment. They wore lightweight armor designed for maximum mobility. Their weapons were standard military issue, nothing special or exotic. The transport shuttle carried them down through the atmosphere. Captain Foster piloted the craft herself, using the planet's magnetic field to mask their approach. The surface rushed up to meet them, rocky and harsh under the alien sun. Touchdown in 30 seconds, Foster announced. The shuttle landed in a small canyon 5 kilometers from the pirate base. The human team disembarked quickly, their movements sharp and efficient. As soon as they stepped onto the planet's surface, they felt the difference. Feels like I'm wearing a weighted vest, commented Private Matt Johnson, but nothing I can't handle. Stay focused, Brooks ordered. This is easy for us, but remember it would be crushing for most of the pirates. They moved through the rocky terrain with surprising ease. What would have been an exhausting march for most species was just a challenging hike for the humans. They covered ground quickly, their enhanced muscles and cardiovascular systems handling the extra gravity without strain. As they approached the pirate base, they could see the enemy's weakness. The pirates moved slowly and clumsily, clearly struggling with the planet's gravity. Their sentries were few and poorly positioned, obviously unable to patrol effectively in the heavy conditions. They're barely holding together, Walsh whispered through the communication system. Look how they move. Brooks observed the pirate camp through his field glasses. The enemy had about 30 fighters from various species, but they were clearly suffering. Some were using mechanical supports to help them walk. Others moved in short bursts, resting frequently. They probably thought this planet would be a safe hideout, he realized. The gravity keeps most people away. They didn't expect anyone who could operate normally here. The attack began at dawn. The human team moved like ghosts through the rocky terrain, using the planet's natural features for cover. The pirates, weighed down by gravity and exhausted from their struggles, never saw them coming. Sergeant Walsh led the flanking maneuver, taking 4 soldiers around the camp's eastern side. The route required climbing over steep rocks and moving through narrow passages. For humans, it was challenging but doable. For most alien species, it would have been impossible. The pirates had positioned their defenses to face the colony, expecting any attack to come from that direction. They had not anticipated an assault from the difficult terrain behind them. Teams in position, Brooks radioed. Begin the attack. The human soldiers moved with precision and speed. They covered ground that the pirates thought was impassable. Their weapons' fire came from directions the enemy had not defended. Private Johnson demonstrated the humans' natural advantages when he encountered a group of pirates trying to reach their weapons. He moved through the heavy gravity like it was nothing, reaching the enemy position before they could properly respond. The pirate leader, a notorious Krillian warrior named Tesh, tried to organize a defense. But his fighters were too slow, too exhausted by the planet's gravity to mount effective resistance. "Impossible," he growled into his communicator. "How do they move so fast?" The battle was brief but decisive. The human team's superior mobility and endurance gave them an overwhelming advantage. Pirates who tried to run found they could not maintain speed in the heavy gravity. Those who tried to fight found themselves outmatched by enemies who moved with superhuman grace. Within an hour, the pirate base was secured. The human team had captured most of the enemies and destroyed their equipment. Not a single human soldier was seriously injured. As the dust settled, the colonists began to emerge from their hiding places. Colonial Administrator Quanto, a tall alien with silver skin, approached Captain Brooks with obvious amazement. "How did you do that?" he asked. "We have been trapped here for weeks. Our security forces could barely move in this gravity." "We're from a heavy world," Brooks replied simply. "This gravity is actually lighter than what we're used to." The implications of this statement rippled through the assembled colonists. They looked at the human soldiers with new understanding. These beings had just accomplished what seemed impossible, and they made it look easy. Word of the victory spread quickly through the galaxy. The Galactic Council received reports of the battle with growing amazement. The humans had not just won. They had demonstrated capabilities that exceeded all expectations. Fleet Commander Knox Runn studied the battle reports with professional interest. "They moved through terrain that would stop my best warriors," he noted. "And they did it while carrying full equipment loads." Dr. Yuxtai added his own analysis. Their cardiovascular systems allowed them to maintain peak performance throughout the engagement. Most species would have been exhausted after the first 10 minutes. The rescue of Kepler 442b became a turning point in galactic history. It proved that humans were not just strong by accident of evolution. They were capable of using their strength wisely for the protection of others. As the human team prepared to return to Earth, Captain Brooks received a message from the Galactic Council. They wanted to meet with humanity's leaders to discuss a new partnership. "What kind of partnership?" Brooks asked. "The kind," replied Ambassador Zethkara, "where your people help protect those who cannot protect themselves. The galaxy needs guardians like you." The age of human integration into galactic society had begun. The battle for Kepler 442b had ended, but its effects were just beginning. News of the human victory spread through the galaxy like wildfire. On communication networks across dozens of worlds, beings discussed the impossible feat they had witnessed. In the colony's main square, a crowd gathered around the human soldiers. The colonists, freed from weeks of terror, looked at their rescuers with wonder. These 12 humans had accomplished what an entire security force could not. "Tell us how you did it," pleaded Dr. Nimter, the colony's chief medical officer. His 6 arms gestured weakly as he spoke, still exhausted from the planet's gravity. Captain Brooks looked at the assembled crowd. Aliens of many species stood before him, their faces showing mixtures of gratitude and amazement. He chose his words carefully. "We come from a world with heavy gravity," he explained. "Our bodies are built for those conditions. What seems impossible to you is normal for us. But your speed," interrupted Security Chief Vel Kun, "your endurance during the battle. I have never seen such performance." Sergeant Walsh stepped forward. "We trained our whole lives under Earth's gravity. When we came here, it felt lighter. To us, We could move faster and fight longer because we're used to much harder conditions." The crowd murmured in amazement. These humans spoke of their incredible abilities as if they were ordinary things. Across the galaxy, military leaders studied the battle reports with growing concern and respect. Fleet Commander Nox Run of the Krillian Empire called an emergency meeting of his top officers. "Analyze this," he ordered, projecting the battle data onto a holographic display. 12 humans defeated 30 experienced pirates in less than an hour. General Kex Mars, his second in command, studied the tactical breakdown. Their movement speed was incredible. They covered terrain that should have taken hours in just minutes. And they maintained combat effectiveness throughout. More than that, added Admiral Quinrex, they fought with restraint. They could have killed every pirate, but they chose to capture them instead. That shows discipline and moral strength. Fleet. Commander Nox Run nodded grimly. A warrior race that chooses when to kill and when to spare. That is more dangerous than mindless violence. On Earth, the response was different. In the Pentagon, military leaders watched the same reports with pride and concern. "They performed perfectly," said General Wong, reviewing the mission summary. "But now every species in the galaxy knows what humans can do." Colonel Morrison, recently promoted to general, looked at the strategic implications. "Some will want to be our allies. Others will see us as a threat. We need to be ready for both." Dr. Rodriguez entered the briefing room with new data. "I've been analyzing the physiological reports from the mission. Our soldiers' heart rates barely elevated during combat. Their oxygen consumption remained normal. For them, it was like a routine training exercise." "What about the aliens?" asked General Wong. "The pirates were operating at their absolute physical limits," Rodriguez replied. "The gravity was slowly killing them. They couldn't fight effectively because they were using all their energy just to stay upright." The data painted a clear picture. Humans had not just won a battle. They had demonstrated natural superiority in conditions that crippled their enemies. Back on Kepler 442b, the victory celebration was interrupted by an unexpected challenge. Great Tesh, the captured pirate leader, requested to speak with Captain Brooks. "I want single combat," the Krillian warrior declared. "My honor demands it," the colonists gasped. Great Tesh was infamous throughout the galaxy for his fighting skills. He had defeated warriors from dozens of species in ritual combat. "I don't want to fight you," Brooks replied calmly. "The battle is over. You've been defeated." "You caught me weak," Great Tesh snarled. "This cursed gravity made me slow. Fight me properly, and I will show you the strength of the Krillian Empire." The crowd gathered around them. This was not just a personal challenge. It was a test of human capabilities against the galaxy's most feared warrior race. Dr. Nim Tor tried to intervene. "Captain Brooks, Great Tesh is incredibly dangerous. His people are bred for combat." "So are mine," Brooks replied quietly. "We just don't talk about it." The duel took place in the colony's main plaza. Word spread quickly, and soon aliens from across the settlement watched from balconies and windows. Even the ship crews in orbit monitored the fight through communication. Lynx, Great Tesh stood 7 feet tall, his scales gleaming in the alien sun. His muscles bulged with the enhanced strength of his warrior breed. He carried a traditional Krillian blade, curved and deadly. Captain Brooks looked small by comparison. He wore standard military fatigues and carried a simple combat knife. But he moved with the easy confidence of someone completely comfortable in his own body. "You cannot defeat me, human," Great Tesh boasted. "I have killed warriors from 50 worlds. I'm not here to kill you," Brooks replied. "I'm here to end this." The fight began with Great Tesh's charge. He moved with the speed and power that had made him legendary. His blade swept through the air where Brooks had been standing, But Brooks was no longer there. He had moved aside with casual ease, as if the Krillian was moving in slow motion. The planet's gravity, which felt crushing to Great-Tesh, barely affected. The human et al. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the battle continued. Great-Tesh attacked with all his skill and fury, but he could not land a hit. Brooks moved around him like water, always just out of reach. Worse for the Krillian, the gravity was exhausting him. Each attack used precious energy that he could not spare. His breathing became labored, his movements slower. Brooks, meanwhile, seemed fresh and relaxed. He dodged attacks without effort, his enhanced cardiovascular system handling the planet's gravity as if it were nothing. "Impossible," Great-Tesh gasped. "How do you move so easily?" "Practice," Brooks replied. "Lots of practice." The end came suddenly. Great-Tesh, weakened by gravity and exhaustion, stumbled during an attack. Brooks stepped forward, disarmed him with a simple move, and held the Krillian blade to his opponent's throat. "Yield," Brooks said quietly. Great-Tesh looked into the human's eyes and saw something that shook him to his core. This being could have killed him at any moment during the fight. Instead, he had chosen to demonstrate superiority without dealing death. "I yield," the Krillian whispered. The crowd erupted in amazement. The galaxy's most feared warrior had been defeated by a human who barely seemed to try. As news of the duel spread through galactic networks, the response was immediate and profound. The ethereal collective called an emergency session to discuss the implications. The Merchant Guild began calculating the economic impact of human capabilities. Even the peaceful Xenthari Republic sent envoys to Earth requesting alliance. The most significant reaction came from the Galactic Council itself. Ambassador Zethkara transmitted a formal message to Earth's leaders. "We misjudged you," he said in the recording. "We thought you were just another species seeking to join galactic civilization. We did not realize you were evolution's answer to our greatest challenges." On Earth, the message sparked intense debate. Some leaders wanted to use humanity's newfound reputation for political advantage. Others worried about the responsibilities that came with such power. President Rebecca Miller addressed the nation and the galaxy in a historic speech. "We did not choose to be stronger than our neighbors," she said, "but we can choose what to do with that strength. We choose to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The speech was broadcast throughout the galaxy, translated into hundreds of languages. It became known as the Earth Declaration, humanity's promise to use their natural advantages for the benefit of all sentient beings. In the weeks that followed, requests for human assistance poured in from across the galaxy. Pirates had taken advantage of high-gravity worlds because no one could effectively fight them there. Now, for the first time, there was hope. Captain Brooks and his team became heroes, not just on Earth, but throughout civilized space. They had shown that humans were not conquerors or destroyers. They were protectors, willing to risk their lives for strangers. The age of human guardianship had begun. The galaxy would never be the same. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Kepler 442b, and the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. The great chamber of the Galactic Council looked different now, with new gravity adjustment systems installed throughout the building. Beings from high-gravity worlds, once unable to participate fully in galactic politics, could now take their rightful place among the stars. Ambassador Lisa Martinez walked through the council corridors with confident strides. Her promotion from military captain to humanity's chief diplomatic representative had been well earned. Behind her, a small group of alien dignitaries struggled to keep up, even with their gravity assistance devices. Ambassador Martinez called out Trade Minister Quexall, his tentacles waving enthusiastically. "I have the final agreements for the Kepler Mining Consortium. Human workers will oversee operations on all worlds above 1.5 galactic gravity standard. Lisa nodded politely. The economic implications of human capabilities had proven as significant as the military ones. Entire industries had been revolutionized by the simple fact that humans could work in conditions that disabled other species. In the council's main chamber, she took her seat at the newly installed human delegation table. The council had created a special section for high-gravity species, though so far only Earth was represented there. The session will now come to order, announced Council Speaker Rythek, his voice carrying through the universal translators. Today we discuss the formation of the Galactic Defense Corps. The proposal had been months in the making. After dozens of successful human interventions on high-gravity worlds, the Council had decided to formalize the arrangement. Humanity would provide specialized military support, while other species contributed their own unique advantages. Fleet Commander Nox Run stood to address the assembly. The proud Krillian warrior had become one of humanity's strongest supporters after witnessing their honor in battle. "The Defense Corps' proposal has my full support," he declared. "Humans have proven they use their strength to protect, not to conquer. My fleets will serve alongside theirs with pride." Ambassador Kelenova of the Ethereal Collective nodded in agreement. In the past year, human intervention has saved 17 colonies and stopped 43 pirate attacks. They have asked for nothing in return except the chance to help others. Dr. Yixtai presented the scientific data that supported the new organization. Human physiology allows them to operate effectively on 78% of all inhabited worlds. Most other species can only function properly on 23% of galactic territory. The Defense Corps would expand protection to previously unreachable areas. The vote was unanimous. The Galactic Defense Corps would be established with joint command structure, combining human capabilities with alien technology and knowledge. On Earth, General Morrison stood in the newly constructed Global Defense Headquarters in Geneva. The building had been designed with input from alien architects, creating a structure that could accommodate beings from across the galaxy while maintaining Earth's gravity for human personnel. "The first integrated training class will begin next week," reported Colonel Susan Hayes, Morrison's new aide. "We have 50 human volunteers and 200 alien cadets from 30 different species." Morrison looked out the window at the training grounds below. Human and alien engineers worked together to construct obstacle courses that would challenge all species fairly. Variable gravity fields allowed everyone to train under equal conditions. Dr. Amy Rodriguez entered the office carrying a tablet full of research data. Her work on comparative physiology had become the foundation for all interspecies military cooperation. "The latest medical reports are encouraging," she announced. "Alien species are adapting to work with humans better than expected. The Velthari have developed enhanced support systems that let them operate in higher gravity for limited periods." "What about the humans?" Morrison asked. "Our people are learning too," Rodriguez replied. "Working in lower gravity environments, understanding alien technology, adapting to different atmospheric conditions. Cooperation goes both ways." The success of human-alien cooperation extended far beyond military matters. On the mining world of Titan VII, human supervisor Carl Peterson worked alongside a team of alien engineers to extract rare minerals from the planet's high-gravity environment. "The new extraction robots are working perfectly," reported Chief Engineer Vix Tau, a six-armed being who specialized in complex machinery. "Human strength allows them to install equipment we could never handle." Peterson wiped sweat from his forehead. Even for humans, working in 2.1 times standard gravity was challenging. But it was possible, which made all the difference. "The real breakthrough is the partnership," he said. "You design the perfect machines, and we can install them anywhere. Together, we're accomplishing things neither of us could do alone." Similar partnerships had developed across the galaxy. Human explorers opened new worlds for colonization. Alien. Scientists provided technology that enhanced human capabilities. Trade flowed both ways, benefiting everyone. The first graduation ceremony for the Integrated Defense Corps took place on a space station orbiting Kepler 442b, the world where it all began. General Morrison stood beside Fleet Commander Knoxrun as cadets from dozens of species received their commissions. Among the graduates was Danny Peterson, the child who had played on monkey bars during humanity's first contact. Now 18, he had trained alongside alien classmates who once would have considered his casual strength impossible. Cadet Peterson, General Morrison called out, "You will be assigned to the Heavy World Response Team." Danny stepped forward to receive his assignment, moving with the easy grace that marked all humans. His alien classmates watched with admiration rather than fear. They had learned to appreciate human capabilities as gifts to be shared, not threats to be feared. In the audience, Ambassador Zeth Kara observed the ceremony with satisfaction. His people had come so far from that first frightening encounter on Earth. Now his own son served alongside human officers, proud to be part of the new galactic order. The ceremony concluded with a speech from Ambassador Martinez. She stood before the assembled graduates, representing not just humanity, but the principle of using strength to serve others. You are the first generation to grow up in a galaxy where difference is celebrated, not feared, she said. Humans bring strength, but our alien partners bring wisdom, technology, and perspectives we could never develop alone. Together, we are stronger than any of us could be apart. As the new officers dispersed to their assignments across the galaxy, the future looked brighter than ever. The fear and uncertainty that had marked first contact had given way to cooperation and mutual respect. On Earth, children played in parks under the same heavy gravity that had once seemed impossible to alien visitors. But now, those alien visitors understood that this apparent disadvantage was actually humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Dr. Rodriguez published her final report on human-alien cooperation, documenting the transformation that had taken place. Evolution gave humans natural advantages, she wrote, but it was their choice to use those advantages for others that made them truly exceptional. The Galactic Council voted to establish a permanent memorial on Kepler 442b, honoring the moment when fear became friendship. The inscription, written in hundreds of languages, carried a simple message. Here, strength learned to serve, and the galaxy became home to all. Years later, as trade ships carried goods between high-gravity and low-gravity worlds, as human soldiers protected alien colonies, and as alien scientists enhanced human capabilities, the partnership continued to grow stronger. Got the child who had. Amazed aliens with simple playground games had become part of a generation that saw the galaxy as one unified community. Danny Peterson, now a lieutenant in the Defense Corps, often remembered that first meeting in the Nevada desert. Humanity had been born under a heavy sky, but they had learned to use their strength to lift others up. In choosing to be protectors, rather than conquerors, they had found their true place among the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but it was also home to beings who needed protection, assistance, and friendship. Humans had proven that evolution's gifts were meant to be shared, and in sharing them, they had gained something even more valuable than strength. They had gained a place in the family of sentient beings, not as masters or servants, but as guardians and friends. The heavy gravity of Earth had indeed changed everything the galaxy thought about humans, but it had also changed everything humans thought about themselves. In the end, they learned that true strength was not the ability to dominate others, but the wisdom to know when to use that strength in service of something greater than oneself.